All right, this is on, yeah? Okay, perfect. Who was in my class the first day? All right, a little less than half. And then anybody, did I see anybody at the SIG group that did the kind of skeptic talk? Right on. So we got a bunch of new faces in here. So I really appreciate you guys being here. So a tremendous amount of speakers that are speaking right now. You chose this class, and I promise I'm going to do everything I can do to make it worth your while. I normally like to start off with some little philosophical talk and things like that. I have a lot to show you and very little time to do it. So I can't get on my little philosophical soapbox for 5 minutes that I'd like to do. So all I'll tell you is this, and then we'll get right into it. I'm not here to give you answers. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm not here to tell you how you should train. All I'm here to do is to share with you my approach to training. What you do with it is the same thing. I'll tell you the same thing that my mom used to tell me when she'd make dinner. I have two options when I make dinner for you every night. Take it or leave it, all right? So whatever you like from this talk, take it, apply it into your own setting. Feel free to modify it if it inspires you to tweak it and do something else, and maybe you can come back and you find a better way to do it. I'm always a work in progress. I'm coachable. I'd love to learn from you. That's how we roll. If something doesn't fit with a particular client or a particular setting, or you don't think it makes sense to you, that's cool. There's lots of ways to go about doing things. All right, we're all on the same page with that? Perfect. So I have a few slides I want to go over. I'm going to try to go over them fast. If I talk a little bit fast for you, beyond notes and things like that, that's fine. Let's get to the practical application as quick as we can. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to just walk right outside the door and we can talk shop. So if anything you want me to repeat or things like that, I'll do it outside the room. All right? Cool. So this is our objectives real quick. I want to make sure I cover all these points. First, I have two problems with bodyweight only workouts. Every time I do this class, and I've taught it a lot, people always go, oh, you're doing the bodyweight class. And I go, no, it's not called bodyweight training. It's called build muscle without weights. It means no iron. It doesn't mean that we don't use external loads. And there's a reason why I'm gonna talk about that. There's some problems if you don't use external loads. Two, then I'm gonna quickly talk about the three mechanisms of muscle hypertrophy as described in a seminal paper by our friend from the NSCA, Brad Schoenfeld, just so we understand that we're talking about applying principles here. It's not just me coming up with a bunch of things and making things up and say, well, I'm an artist and I'm great, and ignoring the science. No, I don't like to say training is an art and a science. I know that's what we like to say, but it makes it sound like they're two parallel but non-crossing aspects. No, what I say is training is the art of applying the science, because if you're not applying the science, what are you applying at that point? All right, so I want to briefly discuss nutritional requirements for building muscle. Let me just say this, I'll say this right now. We have kind of a double standard. If you write an article about fat loss this day and age, I wrote a book for Human Kinetics called Strength Training for Fat Loss. If you don't address nutrition when you talk about fat loss, you will get crucified, because everybody goes, well, it's calories in, calories out, quality of food. There is no such thing as a fat loss workout. It's all about being in a deficit. Great. Well, what about building muscle? As soon as you talk about building muscle, nobody talks about diet. So it still has to apply in the other direction. So I really kind of gave you my little soapbox on that one. I want to provide you a few sample workouts. So this class is inspired by actually a product I have. I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't have any products being sold at the expo hall. And the product is called Build Muscle Without Weights. It's a program that we designed. It's an iron-free program. And I'm going to clarify why I'm talking about iron-free stuff. I have nothing against using iron. And then through that, I'll help you guys kind of try a variety of new challenging iron-free exercise applications that you can use in regardless of your situation. Private, semi-private, or boot camp, outdoor training situation. By the way, you guys remember when boot camp was actually where you dressed like a military? Do you remember like 10 years ago where people actually dressed in fatigues and dressed all their people up? I remember those days. That's when boot camps actually started. And then now it just turned into group training, but it used to be that. All right, so real quick, how we build muscle without weights, kind of do the why, how, where kind of thing. So a lot of times we think that you got to pump iron, meaning use iron. Barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, and machines, that's not iron, it's some sort of metal, in order to build muscle. But when we look at Brad Schoenfeld's paper on the three mechanisms of hypertrophy, mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage, real quick, let me just give you a little bracket here for a second. It's kind of argued that muscle tension is maybe the main mechanism and that metabolic stress and damage are kind of byproduct mechanisms of it. It still doesn't change the applications, but if anybody here is really into the science stuff, I just want to make sure I address that, because otherwise you'll ding me on it in the feedback form. So I'm aware of that. All right, so anyway, but check out that paper, Three Mechanisms of Hypertrophy. So what that tells us is that building muscle isn't about the specific exercises you do, example, dumbbells, barbells, whatever. It's about the specific training stimulus that you create. That's all program design is. It's creating the proper training environment to elicit the adaptation you're after. If you think about programming like that, you are not limited by your environment. All right? You're only limited by how well you can apply principles. And I just gave you the principles of applying hypertrophy. So all we need to do in order to help build muscle is create an environment that elicits those three mechanisms. All right? And that's what these iron-free protocols do. They elicit those mechanisms. Let's quickly go over them. I'm not trying to make this any sort of physiology workshop. That's my worst subject. But just so we're on the same page. Mechanical tension. Tension exerted on the muscles to basically do what the muscles do, which is three things. Produce, reduce, and control force. Control meaning stabilize, redirect. That's what that means. All right? That can either happen by lifting heavy loads for lower volumes, or in this case, if you're in an environment where you don't have access to tons of barbells and lots of plates and dumbbells, or maybe you have clients who are uncomfortable using those, right? Or maybe they're not comfortable yet, and you'll eventually work them into that. We know the psychology behind all this stuff. We can also create it by doing lighter loads for higher volumes. All right? So because we don't have iron, we got to go for higher volume. 3 ways to maximize motor unit recruitment: move fast, move heavy, or move a lot. Also isometrics. So we don't have move heavy, we got the other 3. Move a lot, move fast, do isometrics. All right? Again, principles first, then you go to methods. Muscle damage, that's basically, there's 2 types of ways to create muscle damage. There's a mechanical way to do it, and there's a chemical way to do it. Basically, mechanically, that's the actin myosin fibers being ripped apart, through eccentric loading, essentially. And then from a chemical perspective, as you do high rep sets, it releases reactive oxygen species, basically free radicals form, and that has been associated with muscle damage. We can get both from the protocols we're going to talk about. And metabolic stress, I'm trying to give you practical terms here. It's just the more time under tension, the more pump you tend to create. Arnold used to talk about the pump. But it turns out the pump is associated with increases in protein synthesis and decrease in protein breakdown. We have some research on that. And that actually explains, I'll just read this to you, this helps explain research showing that maximizing time under tension via lower loads lifted to failure, such as what's emphasized here, resulted in similar hypertrophy gains as heavy loads lifted to failure. Normally shows that if you're above 50% on 1 RM, you can still get significant gains in hypertrophy by doing high volume type reps. High volume sets. All right, had to get my obligatory Arnold Schwarzenegger picture in there. Every time I talk about a specific subject, I talked about single leg training, I said, doesn't mean I don't do double leg training, I'm just focusing on single leg training. Because I'm talking about iron-free workouts here, does not mean I'm saying avoid iron or it's bad or I'm against it or anything like that. No. I'm just focusing on this topic so we can get really, really good at it, as good as we can get in 50 minutes. So I'm not saying stay away from iron. That being said, you want to be diverse in what you can do, all right? One of my good friends, Jacob Wilson, who I've taught all around the world with, he's a hypertrophy researcher, trains pro bodybuilders, into bodybuilding himself. I taught this class last year in Norway with him. He and his wife use this stuff all the time because he says, I love bodybuilding. This gives me a chance to do my bro bodybuilding type stuff on the road when I have limited equipment. So it just helps you become more diverse at applying principles. Also, clients do like diversity, so you can integrate these concepts and techniques into an environment even when you have all that equipment. That being said, one of the things that I like to do, I've done with some higher level athletes on occasion, or higher level clients, I should say, or trainers, the fittest people in the gym here, is sometimes you just go, let's do an iron-free workout, just change it up. We go more of a higher volume type program, don't load the spine as much, just change things up a little bit, and it's very challenging. That's another reason why I came up with this whole Build Muscle Without Weights program. The common association with iron-free workouts is it's only for beginners, or it's only for when you're in a hotel and you can't get weights. Kind of that outlook like, oh, it's less effective than doing iron. No. I'm going to show you guys some stuff that's going to wreck you. All right? It's going to challenge you. Obviously, everything is scalable. That's up to you to use progressions and regressions. All right, so this is how I use it. Recommend doing iron-free workouts for the busy exercise enthusiast training primarily at home or on the road, or for the hard training exerciser looking to mix things up and take on a new, unique workout challenge. And then for the pros, again, lots of different variations that you can integrate in different environments. That's all. 2 problems with bodyweight training. I often hear trainers say this a lot. I used to say this. There's a lot of things I used to say that I look back and I kind of want to go, that was dumb. First, all my clients must master their body weight before they use external loads. Okay, I understand what it's saying, but the first thought is this. Let's say I'm doing a barbell row. Am I not having to master my body weight in order to get into this position and maintain this position while doing the row? I mean, I'm not being dependent on the barbell to do it. Everything requires controlling your own body. So that just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, I like to apply this thing called logic every once in a while. Fitness industry needs to try it more often. And sometimes a lot of things we say don't make sense. So these 2 points I want to make here. I'm going to say I wrote 1 and 1 because they're not really 1 and 2, one after the other. They're both equally important. I'm going to jump to the second one first. My saying is this: master your body with body weight training, just to kind of stick with that same saying. Master your environment with external loads. That's my little cool, sexy saying, to overtake the old cool, sexy saying, because we like cool, sexy sayings. All right, that's number 1. Number 2 is this. When you have no external loads that you're working with, you have one force vector to work with, gravity. That is, if you don't have any momentum or centripetal force built up. All right, so we'll put that aside. But if I bring in bands, bands allow me to load the horizontal and diagonal force vector to do rotary exercises and things. So just by a cheap set of bands, I can get an astronomically more comprehensive and fun and dynamic workout. You see? Plus, that requires a different type of body mastery when a band's trying to pull me off my feet and I have to anchor my feet in the ground and pull it. A 2A or a 1B, I should say, is that when we get to, if I just do bodyweight only training, I have a tremendous amount of options for pushing. I actually teach a whole class on push-ups. I'm a big one-arm push-up fan. I have progressions for it and everything. So we have all these different push-up variations and things. What are you going to do for pulling? And you know, you guys know this, but probably most of your clients have a hard time doing chin-ups and pull-ups. And they sure as heck can't maybe do more than 1 or 2, the average individual, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to YT and WL them to death? That gets old in about 2 weeks. That's a great exercise. You give me a set of bands, I can do double arm, wide grip, put both handles in one hand to make it heavier. Now I can do all this pulling to offset all the pushing that I'm doing. That's called creating a more balanced routine. So that whole concept of first you just do body weight before you master external or use external loads, to me doesn't make sense from a program design standpoint either. So that's my takeaway. No reason why you shouldn't use bands. I really like the JC Predator bands. We got a couple sets back there. I work with the friends from Sorinex, so I wanted to get a good little promotion for them, but any of those super bands are great. And of course the mini bands, and we got them all back here. So I encourage my clients, and that's $100, less than $100 worth of stuff. And if you're just the only one using it, it'll last you for a long, 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 long time. I encourage all my clients, get all these items. We're going to get you really competent in how to use them within workouts. And then if you go on your own, we just tell you, you're already familiar with using mini bands, you're familiar with using super bands, throw them in your bag, take them with you, and you got plenty of workouts that you can do with them. All right, so I already kind of talked about the nutritional thing. I made my point about that. By the way, really quick, some people say that you have to always be in a caloric surplus if you want to build muscle. That's not true. The research shows you can actually lose fat and build muscle at the same time. I wrote an article on one of those websites called like Spot Me Bro or one of those sites, and I talked about the evidence for that as well. Just a quick little side note. All right, so I want to talk about these practical exercise protocols. The first one only involves you guys where you're on at your chair, and then the next one will involve some bands and stuff, and anytime you have to do like a pull or a push, you'll need a partner. Someone will have to be your anchor, and so I'm going to go these quick. We'll do like maybe 5-6 reps of everything, or maybe something that's tough, I'm going to have you run through the entire protocol so you can get a feel for it. All right? Okay, so this hamstring hat trick, if you guys were in my class, the single leg class, I showed it to you on a stability ball. If you don't have a stability ball, you can do it with a chair. So in that Build Muscle Without Weights program, I realized that we did 2 versions of the 8-week program. And again, I'm not telling you this to try to promote the program. I'm telling you this to understand that not everybody's in the same training environment. The one version of the program involves suspension trainers and stability balls as well as the bands. Meaning like you could, a lot of hotel gyms or local gyms can probably, will probably have access to those. But some people might not even have access to those. They might just be in a hotel room and they don't have a stability ball that they want to sit there and pump up for 10 minutes before every workout, and they don't have a suspension trainer. So I did another version that only involved the 3 types of bands that we talked about and body weight. And this is from that version. All right? So basically there are no problems, only solutions, as the saying goes. So this is the 1-leg version. Of course, you can do it with 2 legs. Just watch me for, actually, I'll tell you what. I'll go there. And so you guys probably can see me better, so I'm more out in the open. Get back here a little bit so everybody can see me a little bit better. All right. So the first one, the hamstring hat trick, that is one exercise or one complex of 3 different exercises. So the first is a 1-leg hip lift, if you look at it, with toes on chair. It looks like this. And by the way, I'm dealing with a knee injury on my right, so I'm always going to try to use my left if I can. Like a calf raise with a soft knee. Head is down, arms are out, just like Alan told you to do in the first class when he did the hip bridges. It's right here. It's a hip lift. Don't push the chair away. Don't try to use your quads to do it. These are all pretty easy to remember. All right? I want you to go 8 each side. Then what you'll do is you'll get a little closer, so you'll go 8 and 8. Then you're going to go to more of a 90-degree bend, heel on the chair. Again, pull this knee up above your hip. Kind of neutralize that pelvis, and now we go here. You do your 8 each side in good control. Then you'll flip over. You'll need somebody to hold the chair for this one, probably, if you're not familiar with it. And then you'll do single leg hip thrust a la my good friend Brett Contreras, 8 and 8. Okay? And then we have 2 active recovery exercises that you guys are going to need to come out here to do, and then we'll do the rest of it out here. All right? So let's spread the chairs out a little bit. Get yourself some room. I'll walk around real quick. Remember, anything, if you want to see it again, wait till after the class is over with. And I'll be happy to stay as long as you want me to. So the first one, it's toes on chair. Your knee, your working leg, should only be bent no more than 15 degrees. Right, so you're almost, the chair's almost away. It's kind of like an RDL type of position. Toes should be kind of down like you're at the top of a calf raise. Your other leg, your non-weight bearing leg, should be flexed above your hip and stay there, and you just go up and down. If you do it correctly, you will not push the chair away. This is tough. Really feel your calf fire up, kind of in that insertion point in the back of your knee. Toe down, not heel. Were you doing the second exercise? Oh, okay, got it. The second version, the second one, pull the chair closer to you or you go closer to the chair, whichever one makes more sense to you. This one is heel down, knees bent like 90 degrees, and lift from there. Change the application of the force a little bit, how you're applying force. Go as high as you can. Nothing herky-jerky, nice and smooth and controlled. And then the last one, you flip over so your shoulders are going to be elevated. By the way, I call when your shoulders are on the floor and your feet are elevated above your shoulders, I call that a hip lift. When you're flat on the floor, I call those hip bridges, and when your shoulders are elevated above your feet, I call those hip thrusts. So feet should be hip width apart. When you're going to do the hip thrust, that's when your shoulders are on the chair. Flex one knee above 90, and then hips up and down. Don't push the chair backwards. It's a little bit tough, I understand, guys. You make do with what we got here in our environment. And then just kind of keep your chairs where they're at, and then everybody kind of start to populate the room a little bit around the space. Because this is going to be paired or trisetted with two other exercises that are really abdominal oriented. Good work. Now you can imagine if you took these, depending on your strength level, right? You start individuals at 8 per side, 6 per side, wherever. You can work all the way up to 20 of each. And if you get really good, you don't actually switch left and right. You do everything on the left side and then everything on the right side. Talk about building a lot of metabolic stress through time under tension. All right? That's a tremendous, tremendous pump. Okay, so we kind of got the back. Now we're going to hit the front a little bit. This is the tricep. Ab snails. Watch me here. You're going to need a little bit of space for this. You want to sit almost like she's sitting right there, except not with the chair behind you. Like you're sitting at the beach, you lift up. By the way, if you got bad wrists, bad shoulders, you can't do any of this stuff, that's fine, just sit back. I'm not offended, right? Lift up, watch me, pull yourself as far as you can through, easy down, reset, lift. So it's not this, it's not a butt race. It's not that, right? Up a little bit, yeah, you could do the reverse plank in yoga if you want to get a little bit more. Pull as far as you can through and down. If you don't feel that in your abs, you don't have abs. All right, give me about 3 reps one way, spin around on your butt, 3 reps the other way. And of course, it brings in the shoulders and hips a little bit. By shoulders, I mean a little more lat. Pull as far as you can through, lift your butt as high as you can, very nice. Now I prefer, in regards to hand position, when you're sitting back, I prefer to have the hands this way, external rotation, not the way, I think they teach, does yoga teachers, do they teach a table, it's hands this way, right? So the opposite of how yoga would teach a table. And you don't have to use these exercises in the tri sets and quad sets and paired sets that I have. You might just have a few cool exercises you get out of this and you go, I could use this with a lot of people. Great. That's fine too. All right, so then we're going to flip over. We're going to do a long lever plank. I really like what Alan said about planks. I think regular elbow planks are the most boring exercise in the world. Second most boring exercise in the world is those Pavlov presses. They're fun for like 2 weeks, and then your clients will look at you like, come on, this is so boring. So use progressions from them. A quick and easy progression is a long lever plank. So everybody just get in regular elbow plank position. If you already know this, great. I'm somebody who uses it too. Regular elbow plank position, so your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Now, just scoot yourself back so the crook of your elbows is directly underneath your eyes, and posterior tilt and squeeze your butt as hard as you can. Everything else in plank form stays the same. You know, body in alignment, don't let your head sag, all that kind of stuff. So instead of your elbows here, rock back so the crook of your elbows is directly underneath your eyes. Go back. Now, if you can't go back that far, self-limit it. Only go back as far as you can control without sagging. We'll hold it for about 20 seconds. Really squeeze your butt. Cool. All right. By the way, I came up with a little protocol. It's just a little side note. I call it the 3-2-1 plank. So it's 3 different plank positions, 2 times through, 10 seconds a piece. It equals 1 minute. It's 10 seconds, one arm plank here, so we get anti-rotation. 10 seconds, one arm plank here. 10 seconds, long lever plank, and then it's repeated. So each round of that is 30 seconds. I call it the 3-2-1 plank. Just a way to mix things up on your clients a little bit. The long lever plank. One arm plank, long lever plank. Yes. Now, what you guys just did is 1 tricep. No break in between or minimal break. Rest as much as you need, as little as you have to, is what I tell people that do it. So you can imagine if you did boom, 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 one after the other, minimal break, and went right back through it, everybody in this room would be challenged. And this is the fittest people in the gym right now. This is the fitness professionals. All right, so big body weight training or iron-free training, all that stuff is not just for beginners. All right. And what I like, the way I set this program up, by the way, it's 4-day splits. We did lower body and core focus one day, and then push-pull focus the other day, and alternated those two. All right? But just because we did stuff when you see the upper body workouts doesn't mean we still ignore the lower body. It's what I call a hybrid split. It's a body part split with a total body feel. So this one, everybody find some real estate around me here. You need plenty of room here. And then you're going to grab some bands. It's a leg complex. Everybody's going to try this one. There's lots of leg complexes. The first leg complex I ever learned was from Vern Gambetta 20-some years ago. He called it the burn with the Vern circuit. You guys may know it from J.C. Santana as super legs, but that was originally the burn with the Vern circuit. It's basically just the power endurance type complex. I learned from both of those names that I just gave you, and then you can take that concept and roll with it, and I just developed this complex. So like I said, I'm dealing with a little knee injury on my right side. I can do some stuff, but I'm a little bit ginger on it. So everybody do this with me. We have these 4 exercises. The first thing we're going to do is split squats, 10 reps apiece. Every trainer's favorite number, 10. I like to keep the reps easy. Reverse lunges, 20. Reverse lunge to a knee lift, 20. That's actually 10 per side, excuse me. And then you can do a split squat, scissor jump for 20, or squat jumps for 10. All right? So do this one with me. If you start it, you got to finish it, because your quads will not like you at the end. Okay? So let's start here. Right leg in front. Everybody, right leg in front. You're going to feel like you just did 10 sets of 10 barbell squats after this. Now you can either have hands here, whatever. I like a slight lean forward of the torso, and then just quick, give me this. If you want to let that back leg lift a little bit, that's cool too. All right? Give me 10 really good ones as quick as you can while demonstrating deliberate control. 10 reps, switch your feet, and do another 10. And then go back to the original stance, or a parallel stance, excuse me. As fast as you can, guys. Let's step up the pace a little bit. Good. All right, everybody's on the same page. Now let's go, keep your hands wherever they were. Let's go reverse lunges, alternate legs, 20 reps total, 10 each side. Do it as fast as you can, but still demonstrate good control. So it's not a race, but we're trying to increase that motor unit recruitment, and apply more force by moving a little faster. As soon as you're done these 20, resume that left leg in front split squat stance. We did start left leg in front, right? Okay, good. So far, you guys are doing okay. You know, quads feel all right. You're like, oh, Nick, this isn't that tough. All right, bear with me. All right, so now we're back here. Left leg in front. This is the reverse lunge to a knee lift. Basically, you're going to go like this, come up, bang the knee, come back. See my position here? That athletic position. It's a little more hip. Come up, drive it hard, and come back down. Light tap. All right, give me 10. Really explode the knee forward. Power out of there. Don't overstep, don't step too far back. You guys know general form on things, good back alignment, knee alignment, all that good stuff. Then do the other side. Explode up, down control, explode up, power up. Now everybody's going, oh, okay, I got it. This starts to feel like the end of my leg workout. We're one set. Okay, now your choice. We can either do split squat, scissor jumps. If you do split squat, scissor jumps, I do not like to go all the way down and explode up. I like a half motion. I'm going to do this easy, like that. Like I said, I'm a little lame right now. Or 10 squat jumps. You choose. Go. 20 split squat or 10 squat jump. As high as you can. As high as you can. Give me some air time. Good. A little wider stance, my friend. A little wider stance. Control it on the way down. Control it on the way down. Good jumps or quiet jumps. Take off like cannon, land like butterfly. Yeah. One set. One set. So, let's say, again, like I said, you can take bits and pieces of these things. We're only halfway through this one little quad set, by the way. All right? Keep in mind, in this workout, we call the quad complex, that's one exercise. Even though, yes, I know it's 4 exercises, we call that one protocol. Could you use this as a burnout at the end of a leg workout? Yes. Could you use this if you did a total body workout, but it was a little bit more focused on upper body and you need to get more lower body work in there? Yes. Could you go 5 rounds just through this if you feel like your back is hurting a little bit and you don't want to deal with a lot of load on your spine and you want to get a kind of a muscle building type of stimulus? Absolutely. So there's lots of ways to apply this stuff. All right. Now, you guys are going to grab some bands, and here's what we're looking for here. You can use the super bands or a regular set of bands. Can I use you, my friend? Just hold it there. So band tight rotation. This is my little more fun version of the Palloff press. So instead of just being here, and I like to start people with this one, I keep this still and we just go here. Don't move the hips or shoulders. So I'm not moving my arms enough to elicit rotation. I'm just here. Shoulder level. Don't drop it. Don't turtle. Keep it shoulder level. That changes things. From here to here is a big difference. Obviously, reduced base of support even makes it tougher here. Just shoulder to shoulder. You're going to go 25 each side. Then a front pull through. Everybody knows it. Hold it for a sec. A back pull through where the cable's this way and you pull it through. Powerlifters use that. So what I'll do here is I just want you to hold the middle. I need both handles now. My ideal situation is to use JC bands or Predator bands. So a front pull through looks like this. It basically, instead of like a kettlebell swing where you drive it up, it looks like the bottom end of the kettlebell swing. And I pull my forearms to my thighs. You guys are into kettlebells, you know, forearms to thighs and then explode it off. Pull this to your thighs, like this. Boom. Boom. See the position? I'm not doing a standing crunch. It's isometric and hip flexion. Also 25 reps. Once one person does that, tight rotations right, tight rotations left, 25, 25, and then pull-throughs, front pull-throughs, 25, other person goes. Got it? All right, so grab a set of bands, make sure you have a partner with you. Forget a partner first. You can grab 2 super bands, and the person can hold 1 on each, and you can use that as handles. You may have used these R&T bands over here, whatever you can grab. Oh, those are the best, yeah. I would just, 3 might be too heavy, so what I would do is take out this middle one. Like this. Pull that one out from the middle. Pull it like this. Yeah. And pull it right through. Perfect. And then you have to pull it on the other side too.
Yeah.
There you go. Good. Got it. Anybody else need any more bands? I got like an extra set here. Okay, cool. All right. Hey guys, look. Arm up, hands up, shoulder level. Obviously, we're limited in the resistance that you can apply with the type of band that you grab, but you can always get out a little further, or you can double up the handles. Just between the shoulders. Good. Up a little higher. Good. Elbows a little soft. Very nice. So same kind of stiffness we're creating with the Palloff press, but a little bit more dynamic, i.e. less boring. And then do those front pull-throughs. Push the forearms or pull the forearms right to the thighs. Point your hands like down like a kettlebell, like that. Yeah, and your forearms will go to the thighs. You'll end up like a short stop position. Good. No, separate the handles. Separate the handles, right? This is a heavy band, so it's tough. Good. Pull it right to here. Yep. Stronger back like a deadlift. Now just pull your arms in. There you go. Got it? Obviously, this is a tough band, so you have to be, Yeah, sometimes you have to adjust due to limited equipment here based on the resistance. That's perfect. Just what I want to see. Good job, my man. Maybe narrow your stance a little bit. You might be just too wide. Good work. Give me a little bit more hip flexion with it, right? Like so you actually incorporate the hip flexion with the straight arm pull. All right, let me see it. That's it. Yeah, so you're not moving here, and I want you to move there. So come up a little bit, and then down, just like a kettlebell swing.
Okay, so do move.
Yeah. That front pull through is just like a kettlebell swing, except you're applying force in the opposite direction. You're pulling it down instead of exploding it up. So hopefully you guys can see the theme here. We hammer the legs while the legs are recovering. We hammer the core. Once the core is gone, or the abs, however you want to package that. Once we get done with that, we go back to the legs. So we create this higher metabolic type of response. More muscles work, more calories burn. It's very simple. That's just basic physiology. So when you do this front pull through, everybody look at me for a sec. Because I'm starting to see everybody kind of broing it out and give me that straight arm pull down. I love that exercise. That's not what I'm talking about. All right? I understand resistance is going to change depending on what's more appropriate, but this is not the exercise. That's a straight arm pull down from a bent position. Perfectly great exercise, just not what I'm talking about right now. All right? What I mean is here. Look at the hip flexion that's being applied. Just like I said, it's the exact movement of a kettlebell swing, except you're applying force in the opposite direction. The kettlebell, you're exploding it up against gravity. Here, you're pulling it down against the force vector of the band. Try it again. Get it right. Good. Soften the knees a little bit. Yeah, more hip flexion, less lumbar flexion. You're good. More like a deadlift, more like an RDL. Yeah, it's more like an RDL at the bottom. Okay, that's enough with that. Let's keep it moving. Next one, right where you stand. We do a plank clock. Again, just mixing up the planks. Like this here. Plank position, if you're based on your left leg, you always go away from that one. You're just going to go 180. 180, switch. So if I'm on my right leg, I go left. It makes more sense that way. Believe me, if you go like this and you feel like you're going to want to roll over. All right, I mean, it's doable. Just makes more sense. Use the opposite leg of where you're going to go. Keep everything in alignment, good control, 180 one way, 180 the other way. Could you go 360 instead? For sure. If you're limited in space, just use the space that you have as best you can. Yep, so if you're on your right leg, go to the left now. Good. No hip sagging, no head sagging. You guys already know that. So I shouldn't be seeing it. Cool. Oh, I like that. All right, yeah. Now, each one of those exercises individually was challenging. You imagine doing them, that whole entire leg complex, and then you already have your bands attached on something, or you're working with a partner, it's the you go, I go kind of mentality. It's one circuit round. We'll do in sets of 3 and 4 times through that entire thing. All right? Stuff is no joke, like I told you. It's no joke. All right, so now we're going to talk a little upper body. So this is an emphasis of pulling, this workout, but we're going to do some lower body exercises that are more mobility, movement challenging exercises that don't overload the legs, because we just showed you how we overload the legs. And by the way, these are excerpts from a lower body workout. So we might do, after that one sequence I just showed you, we might do another sequence that's very similar and another sequence that's very similar. All right? So we're talking like 3 and 4 trisets or quad sets in one individual workout. All right, so there's lots of ways to do this back blaster. This will work best. Who had the JC, the Predator bands? Oh, right there. Can I steal you for a second, man? All right, can you just be my anchor for a sec? So if you don't have a double setup, just grab two bands. Or if you have a light band like that, obviously somebody can hold the middle, like you're holding right there. You can hold the middle. But these are on my ideal situation because they have a separate anchor point. So I'm actually going to show you one step beyond what I have right up there. I only have 2 exercises up here, band alternate arm row and a band swimmer. So I'm going to apply a third exercise to it. So here's what I want you to do. And we're going to keep it easy on the reps. Anything that is double, we'll keep it 15. Anything that's alternate, it's 15 per side or 30. All right? Again, anytime I'm doing difficult type workouts, I don't want you thinking about reps. I always go easy numbers, 10, 15, 20, easy to memorize. All right, so first, you're going to be in a split stance. I'm going to go alternate arm, row. That's what's listed up there. 30, look at the posture, upright. Then I switch, give me another 30. It's easier to count the second rep every other. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you count the first rep, you'll always lose the one side. All right? So it's 15 per arm, or 30 total per stance. Got it? All right, now here's the one I'm going to add in to the middle of this one before we get to the band swimmer. Then you're going to go to parallel stance. You're going to do a compound row. I love this one. You got to get back far enough. You may have to adjust depending on which exercise you're doing. I'm going to hinge at my hips. That's a little bit light. Notice it's a hip hinge. It's not a rounding the back. A hip hinge, get a nice stretch as I come up. Bang. Here. Give me 15 of those. Then you're going to walk in, and then you're going to do a swimmer. It's a little different than the front pull through. Arms are going to go outside the hips. You're going to pull this like this. You want the bands just outside your pockets, and the top of the band to touch your shoulders. Good posture. See? Not that. Obviously, if you're using a band that's going to be a little heavy for you, you just limit your range of motion accordingly. All right, quick review. This is the pace I should see. Lighter load, faster movement. 30. 30. 15. 15. Got it? Well, we'll see if you got it. Here we go. Somebody pair up with that. Nice job. Don't be so long with your stance. Give me a little bit more. Yeah, perfect. Heel up in the back, my friend. Uh-oh, someone's been shopping at the NSCA store.
That's right.
Yeah. Little taller. There you go. Good. More range in the back. Yeah, there you go. Let those elbows get back. Let those elbows get back. Heel up in the back in that staggered stance. When you get to those compound rows, I want to try to get about a rep a second. Boom, 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 boom. Very nice. Good work, yes. A little bigger chest, a little more squeeze at the top. You got it, you're good. Look, when you come up, don't turtle. Give me that. Nice work. Good. So if you keep losing your balance, just split your stance up. All right, that's good. A little bit more split, like this. And just go like this. Keep your weight centered. All right? And in that case, I would have you do I'd probably even do 8 and 8, just do 16 reps.
Nick, did you stand between the swimmers?
Yeah. All right, let's look at these swimmers in a second here, because I'm seeing some stuff. You guys are making up your own stuff now. You're like, all right, I listened to you for the first 2. Now I get to make up my own exercise. All right, so here's a swimmer. Look at me again real quick. Again, if you have a really super heavy band that has a strength curve that as soon as you pull it about 10 inches, it triples in weight, it's going to get really tough. So it depends on, you're limited by your equipment here. But this is what a swimmer looks like. I'm up tall. That's number 1. I'm not starting here. And I coordinate flexion with pull. All right? And then once I nail it, and this is the ending position. Look, not like this, here. Try to put the thumbs by the pockets, try to get the band to the shoulders. And then give it to me. All right? Yeah, so here.
It's gonna be really hard.
That's hard, but you're modifying accordingly. You're just going to the range that you can control. Good work. Again, modify your range accordingly to the band that you're using. You couldn't find you a partner, or you just like to watch?
I didn't have a partner, but I'm doing good.
All right, good. As long as if you're good, I'm good.
About 9 minutes.
9 minutes left already?
10, 9 minutes.
Okay, well, okay. All right, guys, look, I just got the 10-minute hook warning, so I got to keep everybody moving. Look, remember, you can stay with me, guys. On me. Appreciate that, thank you. Oh, more like 5, okay, good. So drop the bands, make sure they're out of the way. Don't put them back, just keep them. Now, here's a version of a rotational lunge that we do with a leg lift. Something you probably can add on to things that you learn from Alwyn. I like to use some of those exercises we use as warm-up. I like to use them as active recovery things as well. One of my things that I changed probably 10 years ago is I felt like we were spending too much time warming up. Again, there's no party line here. You may hear something different from me than you hear from Alan or somebody else. That's cool. I'm not insulting anybody. I'm just saying how I do things. I don't like these 20-minute warm-ups. To me, if you're warming up longer than 7 minutes, you're spending way too much time. I'm all about strength and conditioning. That's why you're here. So I still think those exercises are important. What I'd rather do is shorten those warm-ups and take the exercises that I might have done before in a longer warm-up and put them in as active recovery within the workout. Guess what that allows me to do too? Not only makes better time instead of resting or whatever, but I get to do 2 and 3 sets of them instead of just 1 set in the warm-up. So if you think they're important, now you get more volume of that. Okay, so you saw some side lunges and different things. Okay, well there's a rotational lunge too. You've probably seen that. One of the modifications I like to do is do a step over with it. So in this case, it's a rotational lunge. I'll show you a lateral lunge. You can go hands out and hands here, whatever. Up and over, up and back. So the first one, first off, if you can't do a lateral lunge right, this is a progression, so you don't progress unless they deserve it. First one would be here, and then just come back regular. You can alternate sides or whatever. Second, more tougher version is here, and then explode back. What we have here is a rotational lunge. It's this way. Look at my legs are like an L, so don't let that other foot turn in. I drop down and drive it up. Same thing. Step over the hurdle, step back over the hurdle. What I should see is good shoulder and hip control. Look, everything stays stacked. It doesn't look like this. Most people look good here. It's this one, they'll go like this. Over. All right, so they might not be ready for that or shorten the step. Got it? Let's try 6 per side. Alternate sides or do the same side for 6 and then switch sides for 6, whichever you prefer. All right. So again, put this in where you may, active recovery, warm up, whatever best fits in what you value as a trainer. And hopefully you have different frameworks for different types of clients in different situations. That's cool too. All right, so just a progression. And I really like what Alan said. He said, you know, I don't know where the line between core training ends and resistance training begins or vice versa. That's my same thing with warm-up. I don't know where the line between mobility begins and activation ends and all these things. So same kind of idea. Again, it's just kind of arbitrary categories. I'm definitely stealing that line from him. I already did. All right, great stuff. All right, so now, last one. Everybody's going to go through this one time, the full tilt, just as we have it. Here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a light mini band, so either green or yellow. Don't grab a blue or black, even if they have them there. You're going to need a chair, and you're going to need a partner with a band that you can have with a double set of handles. One person is going to do the entire sequence, then the next person is going to do the sequence. And then that qualifies you to leave after you give me a handshake. Set of bands, a partner, and a set of mini bands. I would not use the blue for this. All right, now if you can't do regular push-ups, this sequence isn't for you, but I'll show you a modification. But let me show you as is first. Let me walk everybody through each exercise, and then I'll show you a potential modification for the push-ups. So obviously this is more advanced type stuff. All right, push-up triple drop set. I basically designed this based off of, just like you would do a drop set in a machine, you keep, you know, raising the pin, meaning lowering the weight. Same thing you can do from a mechanical standpoint. So first start is you start feet elevated, and I want you to rep out technical failure, not you feel like your arms are going to fall off. Then you come down, Shake it out for about 10, 15 seconds. You're going to go as many as you can do in good control, which means no sagging head, no sagging hips. Then you're here. You rep out as many as you can do from the floor. Same rules apply. So obviously that becomes easier than the first one. Then you turn around. This would be my bench. And I actually like this because we like to do closer grips. Now you're here. Look at where my hands are positioned. Hands are pointed that way, more on the end of the chair. That gives you more room so you don't hit your head. Elbows tight to the body. And I rep out as many as I can do there. That's easy to remember. Feet elevated, feet on the floor, hands elevated. Okay, then you're going to grab your partner who's going to be ready with the band. You're going to do wide elbow rows. So if you have a band like this, they're going to hold the center. Thumbs start touching. Mini squat like this. I want my hips under my shoulders or slightly behind, not in front. Because the tendency is the people is to go like this. So if you start them a little behind, you're good. If you feel like you're going to lose your balance, open up your base of support. From here, wide elbow. Pull. Reps are right there. I want 15 in good form. Don't do this. All right, don't do the Karate Kid. Right here. Squeeze. All right, reps are right there. 15. Then, mini band. So we have supine bridge march and lateral shuffle. The supine bridge march looks like this. The band goes around your toes. Shoelaces. Feet are up here. I showed this in my single leg class. Feet hip width apart. Keep some tension. Dorsiflex the ankle. Once the hips are up, they don't come back down. Hands like this. Pull it in. Pause for the picture. Pull it in. Pause for the picture. See the straight line I'm maintaining? 6 to 8 per side. Let's stay 6 per side to keep it interest of time. Then the band comes around your ankles. You can go above the knees if you're using a heavier band. And then you do your mini band shuffle that everybody in this room already knows and probably does on a daily basis. 15 to 20 per side. I like to do, because it's kind of easy to divide by 5, I like 5 right, 5 left, 3 to 4 times. My rule there is just shoulders stay stacked above the hips. I say outside the shoulders, shoulder width. Outside the shoulders, shoulder width. Outside, shoulder width. Outside, shoulder width. Okay? We all clear on all that? It's pretty easy to remember. All right, let's do it. First is the push-up triple drop set, or push-up triple threat. If you can't do this, just give me a max set on the floor. If you can't do push-ups from the floor, just give me a max set, hands elevated on the chair. 10, 15 seconds to shake it out between each one. Don't sag the hips. Many as you can do in good control. Ooh. Try to, when you get to the chair, try to give me more extension into your elbows because you're really kind of in that short range. I'd rather you do less reps but more full range of motion, okay? Don't do ego push-ups. I want good push-ups. Good man. Next is wide elbow row, 15 reps. Good squeeze, half a second pause. This helps to kind of balance out the pushing. Wrists stay straight, forearms parallel with the ground, forearms in line with the band. Very good, just a little wider elbows at the top. There you go. Yeah.
What is the possibility of rounds repetition?
Ask me at the end, because catch me at the end, all right? Yeah. Very good. When you get to the mini band, supine bridge march, it's an exercise I came up with. Hips up as high as you can. 6 to 8 per leg. Let's stay with 6. If you're just learning it, it might take you a second or two to get it. Yeah, don't do it.
And I don't know why I have a little stress there, because this is fine.
Yeah. So here's what I would do instead. Oh, it hurts on the other leg?
It hurts on this leg for some reason.
Oh, okay.
When this is down,
So do this.
Hurt me.
Yeah, so do this. So take this off. Put this leg here.
Yeah.
Hug that knee. Soft. No, no. Relax. 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 Soft knee. Soft knee. Soft knee. Now just hip up. Hip down. You can do this better. So you'd give me 6 this way, 6 with the other leg, and then do the mini band. All right? People are trying to rush them, you know what I mean? Pull them on, pull them off. All right, if one person did it, the second person's got to finish. Now you get to watch them suffer, and you got to beat them. You got to do more push-ups than they did. Coach them up a little bit. We've got a bunch of trainers in this room. I want to see more verbal. Don't put it all on me.
That's 2. Good stuff. Hey, on the wide elbow band row.
Little softer knee, my friend. Yeah, on this one.
Oh, gotcha.
Like that. Now do it. Feel the additional tension that you get there? Yeah.
That 1.5, that's 1.5 seconds, like the time for it.
Actually means 1.5 rows, so it's here. Let it out here. I just didn't want to confuse people, so I just skipped that. Very, very, I'm glad that you're paying attention, though, because you're the only person that's asked me so far. Come on, guys. Earn your way out of here. But don't just run away as soon as you're done. At least get a handshake or something. That's what I like to hear. Thank you. Did you have a good time?
Great.
Good. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Nice pants, by the way. Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you. You got a good pump there. I see the veins coming out. You're going to walk out of here with a good pump. The people in my class walk out of here looking good. This is that CEO workout. Get the upper body workout so you look good in a suit. Nice. One thing real quick, the folks, guys and girls who are in here. If you notice, the wide elbow band row says 1.5s. Ideally, how we have in the program, I skipped over it for this one. You would actually do them like this. You would pull, let it out halfway, pull it in, and then that's 1 rep. So instead of 15, it would actually be 15 1.5s. It's even tougher. The half rep is on the let out, it's not on the pull in. So it's pull it all the way in. Yes, you can. You can use it on any exercise that you want. Yes. Thank you, sir. Good.